Welcome to the Charge of Voice podcast. We're here at the Exposure International Photography Festival 2024, and I'm sitting here with Chris Coe, who is a veteran 30-year photographer, but more importantly, a teacher and instructor and a big part of the Exposure family, really, after many, many years of coming here to give workshops and be involved. So, Chris, take it away and let us know what you do here.
Well, hello, everyone. I am a photographer, as you said, and I've been running the Travel Photographer of the Year Awards for 21 years now. So it's really quite an established event. And I brought the exhibition here to Exposure for the last 7 years. So we have a gallery, and during that time I've obviously given some workshops, and this year I'm doing 3, one with another photographer, a photographer's agent. And for me, this is one of the most amazing festivals. It is the most amazing festival. I come here every year and it really is uplifting. It's so good to be around other people who are just so interested in photography, regardless of how well known they are or whether they're just starting their careers. We all kind of meet in the middle and we have the most amazing conversations.
Well, I think something that you said there, there's a lot of world-class photographers here that everybody knows their name and they have their exhibitions, but there's also this part where you're nurturing up-and-coming photographers workshops. Perhaps explain a little bit about that and how that works for people who might not already be a world-class photographer.
Yeah, I think that works on 2 levels. First of all, you've got the exhibitions, which have got people who are not so well established, who are really, often it's their first exhibition, their first proper exhibition, and they get involved and they see their work printed to the highest quality in beautiful galleries. And it's really uplifting for them as photographers and gives them a real boost with their careers. And for the visitors, then obviously there's the opportunity to interact with photographers who have varying degrees of experience, and through the workshop program that they run here, to come and learn different aspects of photography. So I've done ones on travel photography, obviously, but I also do things on learning how to edit your own work, which is it's a largely untaught skill, but it's one that you really need to have because people are very bad at choosing their own pictures, of actually going through, and they choose their favorites. They don't necessarily choose their best. And this year we're doing something different. So I'm doing a more discussion-based workshop with Frank Mayo, who's a photographer's agent, and we're going to look at photography competitions. So we're going to look at them from the perspective of the entrant, from the perspective of someone who would be looking at competitions with a view to finding photographers who they could then exhibit or represent. And we're going to look at it from my perspective, which is as a competition organizer. And I think there are many things that people just don't know about competitions, the rationale behind them. There are pitfalls, there are things to make sure you definitely consider and possibly avoid when you're thinking of entering something.
Who is showing up for your workshops? Local people or people coming from all around the region?
It's been a mixture over the years. So we've obviously got local people coming in from other Emirates, and some people who have traveled, especially for exposure, and some people who are not Emirati but are living here in the Emirates and come along to experience a different way of learning photography.
I would imagine for a young up-and-coming photographer or someone who's fairly new to new to photography, to have a portfolio review with a Pulitzer Prize-winning National Geographic photographer must be such a special feeling.
It's a rare opportunity, and it's something that people really, they go for very quickly. They book up extremely quickly. And it's an opportunity to get a perspective that they just wouldn't get otherwise.
Yeah, so explain a bit about the portfolio reviews, how that works, because I think that's such a very, very special part of the whole exposure experience.
Yeah, the reviews are done by different people. So there's obviously photographers. There are some very well-known photographers. There are people like Kathy Moran, who was the Deputy Director of Photography at National Geographic for, I think, about 19 years, 17, 19 years, something like that. And they have an insight into not only photography, but how photography is used. And that's something which someone who's up and coming, if they have that knowledge when they start off, that can really push them forward with their career.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other opportunity that you could actually get to interact with people at that level.
Oh, no, they're very rare. Yeah. I mean, that's true of exposure throughout. You know, people are accessible. Even if it's not a formal portfolio review or a workshop, the photographers are around. You can talk to them at any time. Just come up and speak to them. You can speak about your work. You can speak about their work. You can have more general discussions about photography and where it's going.
I mean, give me a little bit of insight into the exposure, the people that are running exposure. I mean, the organization. I mean, they're obviously very behind the scenes, but I mean, the massive amount of work they're doing to put this festival together and to keep everything running.
Yeah, I've been rather privileged because having been here since the second year, I've seen it grow, and I've seen the problems that they had putting it together in the first place, partly due to lack of experience, partly due to working in a challenging environment. But they've always pulled it off. And each year it gets better and the organization gets more comprehensive and slicker. And it really has now evolved into something really special. If you think that there are, I believe there's around 200 photographers visiting the show, that's a lot of people to organize, just doing the organization, let alone to get all their galleries together, all their prints, put all the workshop programs together, the lecture programs in the main auditorium. It's a real task, and it's been done really, really well.
And even just the daily running of everything. I mean, from running this podcast to all of the other media and the exhibitions and the films, it's just an incredible job.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the place is spotless when you come in the morning. So the people behind the scenes are doing their bit. And the thing I really like is everyone's so welcoming. No matter how hard they're working, they've got time for a smile and time to say hello. And it's really a very impressive organization that's doing it.
What's interesting to me, and I don't know how much you've seen of this, is you get somebody, Pete Sousa came in earlier and was, the press photographer of the White House for 8 years with President Obama. And just, he's blown away when he sees his work on the wall. And this is a person you think, this guy must have just about seen everything. And yet he's having a new experience seeing his work.
Yeah, that's quite common. I mean, you see, especially, I mean, for the newer photographers, when they see their work printed so well, it just kind of blows them away. You can see them, they're buzzing. With what I do, I obviously bring other photographers' work. So I get images of all sorts of different qualities, formats, styles, and have to bring them together in a curated exhibition. And I have so much confidence in the people behind the scenes here that I know now if I just put together the right collection, they'll be printed perfectly and better than I've ever seen them printed anywhere else.
And there's so much for people to do here. If you want to just look at galleries, you could spend days and days doing that. But I mean, all of the presentations, just perhaps clue us in a little bit on some of the activities.
Looking at the galleries, I think last year it took me 3 days to get around them all. There were so many, and you get overload after you've done a certain number of hours looking. But with the program of lectures going on, you can sit in on those. You can spend the day just in the lecture theatre, in the auditorium if you want to, and they're really informative. And again, it just feels really accessible, regardless of who you are.
And how about the experience of being in Sharjah for someone coming or someone who hasn't been? Just the general experience of being here in the Emirates.
Yeah, I think Sharjah is a very interesting emirate. The focus is obviously on education, and you feel it quite strongly. Culture, yeah, all of those kind of elements that come together. And it's a very friendly emirate. It feels like you're part of it when you're here, not sort of someone who's kind of, you're in the background and everything's buzzing around you. You feel as if it's a bit more intimate, I guess would be the best description of it.
Well, Well, Chris, I know you've got a lot of work to be doing here and need to get running along, but thanks for popping by and having a chat here.
My pleasure.
Great to kind of get a bit of insight from the working end of things that are going on. Any final thoughts you'd like to share with us about the experience, Sharjah or Exposure?
I would say come to it. I arrive here, I look forward to every year, and every year I'm buzzing even more than I thought I was going to be when I get here.
It's a bit hard to explain because you're trying to say to somebody, I don't think it would be oversaid to say it's a life-changing experience, but I think it is a life-changing experience to see it.
I do too. I think the diversity of the exhibitions as well is another strength with this show. You'll often go to them and some of the big ones, and they're very much within a style. This one, you've got galleries which are wildlife next to galleries which are almost documentary, sometimes conflict type imagery, next to conceptual stuff, next to things that have been shot in a studio, and things that have been very much shot in remote parts of the world.
I think that one of the things that really struck me the first time I came here, I think there was 54 exhibitions, was how do 54 people use basically the same piece of equipment and see the world in 54 different ways?
Yeah, well, that's about being human, isn't it?
Yeah, but it is.
It is the great thing about everybody sees it differently, and
right. It's not 54 sets of photographs or replicate each other. Every one is completely unique and individual.
Yeah, well, it always amazes me when I teach a workshop, the practical. I'll go out with photographers who are usually learning how to use the camera, and you can be somewhere, you can all be in the same place, and if there's 10 people, you can reckon you're gonna get 8 different views of it.
Yeah.
It's that wonderful human spirit that we all see things differently and are able to then translate it differently.
Well, Chris, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your exposure.
Thank you very much.